Good morning, beautiful souls. So today is today's chat is a continuation of our healing trauma through the body series. And today is video 5. And in case you missed it, last time we talked about how even superheroes need support and how to find the right support for you at this point on your healing journey. Because someone who fits with you at one point may not fit with you at a different point, and there may be different needs. But today we're going to talk about touch. And I'm sure that some of you out there physically cringed even hearing the word touch. Unfortunately, a lot of us have received inappropriate or even abusive touch, and even the thought of being touched can activate a person's nervous system when that has been their reality around touch. And touch is a delicate area, and it's not appropriate for everyone, especially at specific points on their journey. And loving touch is also something that our system craves. Something that can be incredibly healing if done at the right time, at the right pace, and with the right person. This goes back to our talk on titration, and finding the right support person. The healing power of touch. Now we're talking about something that's truly magical and oh so human, and oh so delicate. And when we're able to receive touch, it can feel like a getting like getting a warm hug from the universe. And it's not just about the physical sensation. Touch has this incredible ability to connect us deeply with ourselves and with other people around us. Think about like when you stub your toe or you have a rough day. Sometimes all it takes is a gentle touch on your shoulder or a comforting hand on your back, and you instantly feel better. And I know that that's not everyone's experience. But the reason that some people feel better is that touch releases oxytocin, and it's basically this feel good hormone that boosts our mood and reduces stress. It's like a little dose of happiness delivered straight to your brain. But it does go beyond like the biochemical stuff. Touch can convey empathy, support, understanding without even saying a word. It's like this silent language that speaks volumes, whether it's, a high five celebrating a win, or, a hand squeeze during a tough moment, or like a loving embrace when words just aren't enough, when words almost take away from what you want to say. And let's not forget about like therapeutic touch, like massage or body work. These practices can soothe our sore muscles, and it can, promote relaxation and stimulate circulation. It's kind of like giving your body a well-deserved vacation while your mind kind of takes a break from the hustle and bustle of the everyday life. um, but healing touch isn't just about the physical benefits, it's also about the emotional connection. Studies have shown that babies who receive loving touch thrive better. And as a matter of fact, babies who don't receive loving touch can fail to thrive despite the absence of any medical conditions. And the same goes for us grown-ups. Whether it's holding hands with a loved one, cuddling a pet, or simply patting a friend on the back. Like these moments of connection remind us that we're not alone on this wild ride called life. And it's not just about what it feels like. It's also about what it does for your heart, your soul, and your overall well-being. But these benefits are only available when we can receive them. Some people are unable to receive touch because their system still views touch and sometimes even human contact in general as dangerous. And I will say, like, this was the case for me when I was struggling with PTSD. I didn't trust people. And while I wanted support, my system just wasn't ready to receive it. I had to slowly reestablish a sense of safety before I could allow anyone into my bubble, and especially to touch me. This is why there are lots of boundaries in therapy around touch. And when I was learning somatic experiencing, we were required to do personal sessions. We had a set number of personal sessions we had to do each year, and with a certified somatic experiencing practitioner. And I had one session where we ended, and my nervous system was still dysregulated. I felt completely ungrounded. My head felt kind of swimmy, and my body was still shaky. And when the practitioner asked me what I needed, I told her I needed to be hugged. But because of these professional boundaries that therapists have, we walked around our garden, which I understood, but that wasn't what I needed in that moment. My system was ready to receive. It was thirsty to receive, but there was a boundary for what I needed. And it's part of the reason why I didn't find my healing in traditional therapy, talk therapy, or even somatic experiencing alone, because there was this point where I had established the safety, and what I really wanted was to be held while I cried, because I didn't get that love and support when my traumas happened. And in a lot of ways, being denied that touch, like feeling those boundaries to like flowing love and support, it reinforced my wound. It kind of reinforced the idea that when you need people, they aren't there, especially the way that you need them to be there. And so, that was actually a little wounding. Um, so let's talk about appropriate touch to work through trauma. First off, it's important to approach this with gentleness and respect for your own boundaries and your own comfort level, because a lot of us have had our boundaries violated or even ignored, and we don't really have a clear idea of where our boundaries are. And we often teach children that they don't have autonomy over their own bodies. How often do we hug them or pinch their cheeks, without their consent, or sometimes even in direct violation of what they ask for. Like a lot of times kids will say, don't touch me, and we do it because we think as adults we have autonomy over their bodies, which is not true. So I recommend starting with self-touch to explore where your boundaries are. Start by finding a safe and quiet space where you feel relaxed. Maybe even light a candle or play some soothing music. The idea is to really set that vibe for comfort and for relaxation and for safety. So let's talk about the self-touch. This can be as simple as just, like just placing a hand over your heart, or gently massaging your own hand. The key is to tune into what feels nurturing and comforting for you. And when you start to feel activated, and when it's maybe doesn't feel so nurturing anymore, it's discovering, where that line is, and where, those parts of your body are. And you can experiment with different types of touch. Do you enjoy a light touch or a more firm touch? And maybe a combination of both. Maybe you enjoy touching the palm of your hand, but you start to get a little activated as you move up your arm. Maybe stroking upwards feels different than when you stroke in a downward direction. And I would just invite you to really pay attention to the sensations. Maybe you notice a warmth spreading where you touch, or tension starting to melt away, or on the opposite, maybe you notice that when you touch in certain areas or in specific ways, your heart starts to race, or your breath starts to get shallow. These are the things that we're learning to tune into so that we know where our boundaries are. And I really, again, encourage you to really take your time and tune into your body's messages on your boundaries. Where some of us are new to listening to our bodies, so there's, we really want to take it slow. And Betty Martin's book, The Art of Giving and Receiving, is an excellent book, and she offers different exercises exploring different types of touch, and we will be exploring different types of touch together, in an upcoming video series. So stay tuned for that. Um, and then once you're comfortable with self touch and you've identified your boundaries, maybe you'd like to explore touch in a more therapeutic way with a professional. This could involve receiving a massage from a professional who understands trauma sensitive practices. I would definitely recommend that you ask those questions, because not all massage therapists are trained in trauma or have any sensitivity to trauma. You could do this exploration with a somatic experiencing practitioner, who is specially trained to work with trauma and the body. I found my first healing experience with touch in holotropic breathwork circles. Holotropic breathwork facilitators are extensively trained, and it takes a minimum of 2 years to get certified as a facilitator. But they aren't therapists, and they don't have the same professional boundaries around touch. We're taught to trust your inner healer. If your inner healer says that you need to be held while you cry, we hold you. If your inner healer says you need space and you're not ready to be touched, we respect your space. You set your own boundaries, and your inner healer tells us, what you want and what you need. And when I started, there were breathwork sessions where I would literally hide under my blanket. I would pull the cover over my head, and my entire session was under the blanket. And this was my way of setting a clear boundary that I did not want to be touched. I didn't even want to engage with anything outside of myself at that point. And in later sessions, like I would ask for my breathwork partner to hold my hand. And at first, I didn't really feel anything. It was, yeah, I'm holding their hands, but I really feel a bit numb. I feel disconnected. But as I processed the layers of my trauma and I kept showing up to the breathwork circles, there finally came a day when I felt safe enough to allow myself to be held while I cried. And this was one of the most healing days on my journey. And remember, like, healing from trauma is a journey, and everyone's path is unique, and it's okay to take things slow and honor your pace. And if at any point you feel uncomfortable or triggered and you start to notice these body sensations, it's really important to listen to yourself and to take a step back. We're really teaching our systems that its boundaries will be respected. So I hope that you found today's talk helpful, and that you'll join me next time for my talk on how I found healing in holotropic breathwork circles, and even what holotropic breathwork is. That may be a whole new thing for you. So subscribe to the channel if you'd like to be notified when the next video gets posted. As you've probably seen, it's kind of whenever I feel inspired that I post the next video. I generally try to post on Fridays, although next week it will be a little early, just for other reasons. So share this video with anyone you think might benefit from learning about how to heal their trauma. We're all in this together, and the more we talk about it, the more we start to kind of process some of that shame we may have picked up. And so subscribe, share it. And if you would also like to check out my website, it's ourworldempowered.com. There are more resources there, and the link is also down in the notes below. And until next time, I am sending you so much love, and I really hope that you're creating a fully embodied and sensual day. So bye for now. Okay.